Hey everyone, Boone here. In today's video, I'm going to show you a cool animation technique inside of Adobe After Effects that's going to allow you to animate and loop an object along a path. More specifically, I'm going to be creating this 24 Hours of Le Mans logo where an ellipse loops around the logo following the path of the racetrack. So if you're new here and you want to see more content like this, be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell. Alright, let's get into it. I'm inside of After Effects here and I'm already starting out with a few elements. I have the 24 Hours of Le Mans logo, and I have this path of the racetrack circuit that I have imported, and I have this baby blue background. Now stay tuned, next week I'm going to show you how I imported the racetrack in. It was cool. I researched online and found the path, and I was able to convert this in Adobe Illustrator to make it in After Effects friendly format. So if you want to see how I did that, subscribe to the channel and check back next Monday. Alright, so for the first step, I need to trace this path so I can then apply something to it. I'm going to go to Window, and then down at the bottom here, I have a Create Nulls from Paths script. Now this became available in After Effects in version 2017. I think it came out in late 2017, like October. So if you have a version that's older than that, you might not have this script, which is very, very powerful. So I'm gonna expand this, and now we can see over here, I have a trace path option. First, I need to actually select a path. So I'm gonna go down and grab my shape layer for the Le Mans circuit. Now I could dive down into the menus here and find the actual path to select, but a much faster way would just be to type path and in the keyword search here, and now the path comes up, and I'm gonna grab that. And now I can see the path with all the different vertices here, and I'm gonna click trace path. Now I don't see anything that's happened here. There's actually a null layer here. I'm going to switch over to layer name, and you can see that it added a null layer that's called trace, and it has the path here. So if I zoom out, I can see it's over here, and the reason it's over here is because this particular path isn't zeroed out. It isn't in the center. So all I need to do is simply go to the contents here of my path, and then go to the transform parameters of the actual group. And if you look under the position attributes, I'm just going to zero this out. So do 0 for X, 0 for Y. And now if you look at that null object, it's there. And if I scrub through, you're going to see that that null object is now moving along the track. So if you're confused, if you have any problems with it not being in the position, then you just need to zero out your path. So now once I grab my path and I move it around, you're going to see that that trace is following along and it's parented. So I'm going to simply move this back and get it where I want it. Okay, so now the path is traced. I have this null object moving around. Let's take a closer look at what this trace is doing. So if I select the layer, I'm going to open up effect controls here, and you can see there's a trace path effect that has a progress and loop parameters. The loop is just a simple checkbox. And down here in the timeline with the layer selected, I'm going to press the U key, and that's going to show me these keyframes here. So from 0 to 1 second, this basically is making a full revolution, and since it's set to loop, it's just going to continue to loop. So if I turn loop off, then that will do 1 revolution, and then it will stop basically at the start point here. And the progress bar goes from 0 to 100. So now all I really need to do is attach my object to this and then fine tune the keyframe here in my animation if I want it to loop or if I want it to stay the same and just do 1 revolution. So I'm going to create my ellipse. I'm going to go and grab the ellipse tool. I'm going to turn off the stroke, and I just want a white fill here. And then I'm going to drag it out and hold shift to constrain the proportions. And once again, to center this out, I'm going to open up the ellipse transform options, the group transform options. And I'm going to zero out that position once again, both for X and Y. And that's going to put it right in the center. And then I'm going to go ahead and rename this, and I'll just call this car icon because this represents the car. Now, to attach this to my trace, all I need to do is grab the trace layer and hit P to bring up position. And now you can see there's an expression applied to this that's making it follow the position of that. And I'm going to hold shift and hit R. So these are the 2 parameters that are making this move. So you see the null actually rotates as it moves along. And this is kind of irrelevant right now for my ellipse because it's a perfect circle. It doesn't matter how it rotates. But I just wanted to show you this to know that if you're using some kind of symbol that you need to rotate, you can simply connect the rotation as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the car icon layer, and I'm going to hit P. And now all I need to do is simply pick whip the position of the car icon to the position of the trace. And now you can see my ellipse has snapped straight to my null layer, or my null object. And now watch what happens as I move this. Now you can see I have my car icon. I'm going to turn off the layer so we don't see the bounding box of my null object. All right, so now I have that object. It's animating along the path, and it's also looping. When I bring my playhead to the beginning of the timeline here, the car icon is starting off at this location, when in reality on the Le Mans circuit, it actually starts somewhere around here. So how do we change this to have the car icon start here? I'm going to grab my path, and then to look at the vertices, I'm going to double click on the path. Then I'm going to zoom in here, and let's say that we want it to start at this vertices. So I'm going to simply grab it, and then right click on it. And under the mask and shape paths, the first thing I want to do is make sure that the path is closed. And then I'm going to right click on this again. And then I'm going to set this as the first vertex. And now you can see the car icon has moved to here. Now the second problem we have here is that now it's animating in the wrong direction. The cars actually go this way. So to fix that, I'm just going to go to my trace null layer, hit the U key, and all I need to do now is flip these keyframes and it will go in the opposite direction. So now we're going to go from 100 with our trace path progress parameter, and it'll go down to 0. And let's say that we want this to be the length of our comp, which is 5 seconds. So now I'm just going to grab this keyframe and bring it all the way to the end here. And now as a final touch, I'm going to go to Effects and Presets, and I have a plugin called Deep Glow from Plugin Everything. I'll leave a link in the video description. This is a premium glow plugin, and I'm going to drop this over the car icon. And now I don't even really need to adjust any of the parameters here. Now I have this glowing car icon. As always, you can use the default After Effects glow, but it's nowhere near as cool as Deep Glow from Plugin Everything. Okay, so now I actually have this looping animation. It's all finished. If I export this out, just this 5-second clip, and upload it to social media, that's gonna loop perfectly. But let's say I want to have an intro where the first revolution that this car makes, it's gonna reveal this path. And then after that, it will just kind of loop endlessly. So to do that, I'm gonna go over to my project panel, and I'm gonna go grab the comp here, and I'm going to hold Control or Command D to duplicate this, and then I'm going to rename this and just call it the same thing but just add intro. And then I'm going to open this comp, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a trim paths effect to my path here. So I'm going to go grab the path, open it up, open up the contents, and there's a little add menu right here. Click on this and select trim paths. So now I'm going to expand this so we can see what's going on. I'm also going to go up and grab my trace and hit the U key, and essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to parent the trim paths effect to my progress bar. And I can't see my pick whip bars either, so if I go and right click on my columns here, I have the parent and link column. There they are. So let's try start. I'm going to grab start, and I'm just going to parent that to progress. And now let's see if this works. Okay, that's working. And this, let's say I want to round this, the tip of this off. So I'm going to go to my path here, grab the stroke, and then go to the line cap and choose round cap. And now that will turn that into a round cap. One other quick shout out here. There's a plugin called Buttcapper from a guy named Battle Axe, and that allows you to just quickly grab the layer, and you can change the caps really quickly to whatever kind of cap you want. So I could select multiple layers and use that. It's really awesome tool, and this one's free, or it's a donation. So I'll leave a link to that in the video description as well. Okay, so now I have this intro. So all I really need to do now is export these both out individually, and then I can bring them into Premiere Pro and export this out. And you know what? Let's say I still do want to create a looping animation for social media. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back up to my comps, and I'm going to hit Command Control or Control D on the intro, and let's create a quick outro. We'll just do the opposite here. So I'm going to double click this, and now let's go and grab both the trace, hit U, and then open up our path again. And I'm going to open up the trim paths here. I'm going to hold Alt and turn the expression off of the start. And I don't know if I just grab the end here and see if that's going to trim the end. And now that should be our animation out. Now I'll just export all three of these comps, bring those video files into Adobe Premiere Pro, line them all up, and now I can export this out from Premiere Pro and have a looping animation. If I want to extend the length of this animation, I'll simply duplicate this center clip for as many times as I want. Now I'll just add some race car sound effects and I have my animation. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. If you did, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. And once again, if you want to see more content like this, please subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell.